much effort to get the ball. He's gotten much better at understanding spacing, but also positioning around the basket.
Couple of freshmen jumping it up. There is Vernon Carey, C.J. Felder, a 6'7" freshman from Sumter, South Carolina, controls the tip, and Derek Thornton, the former Duke point guard who left the Blue Devils after one season, went to USC for a couple of years, and finishing his career here at BC, he is their leading scorer. And the Blue Devils are out in the man-to-man defense. And John, as you pointed out, Boston College, a lot of the offense will come off the dribble.
Well, it's a team that puts you in tough situations because they get you to chase the basketball with the bounce. Already, Boston College has some open look opportunities. That's the first shot they've taken.
Stephon Mitchell with the miss, and Felder's there with a follow, and the Eagles have the first bucket.
Yeah, when you get that defense chasing, the eyes follow the basketball, and that's what puts a defense in a bad situation. That's how you give up offensive rebounds.
Here's the Duke starting lineup led by Trey Jones, their sophomore guard. Jordan Goldwire still getting the start. You'll see plenty of Wendell Moore tonight. Cassius Stanley crashing the offensive glass. Duke's excellent on the offensive boards, but Stanley can't finish it. And Mitchell has it. He's a guy who can get the rebound. He can bring the ball up. He's a good passer. He's almost like a point forward inside guy for Jim Christian's team.
He can be really effective, too, if he makes good reads. That's an easy read. That's just a simple curl and layup. So you're talking about Mitchell going up against Matthew Hurt. Matthew Hurt has gotten lost at times defensively. So if you make good reads while a teammate has the ball in his hands, you're going to get open look opportunities.
That was Jay Heath who had that bucket, another freshman for the Eagles who's scored 12 or more in 5 straight games, including a dozen in the victory at North Carolina Saturday. Stanley working on Heath and got his shot blocked. You don't see that very often, and there's a whistle inside.
Well, Heath did the right thing. On the drive, he realized Cassius Stanley's not pulling up for that jump shot, so he gapped. He took a big step back. There's the space. He took a step back, and he was in balance to be able to contest that shot.
That foul was called, John, on Vernon Carey. It's his first. And it is worth pointing out that in the first meeting in Durham this year, BC hung around for a while, but they lost by 39 points, a 24-7 run to end the first half, sort of iced things. So Boston College off to a very strong start here. Oh, terrific look, and a flush from Jarius Hamilton. What a pass. Well, Phil, if you can bounce pass well, you can play at any level.
Well, especially if you're a big. I mean, you go back to the Clemson game, they got beat up by Amir Sims. And it wasn't just Amir Sims scoring, it was Amir Sims being the point guard on the floor. Big guys making plays with the pass has become kind of a new thing. And I think it starts with a lot of the Euro guys coming in where you play around the post, even high post area, and they can pick you apart.
That was Mitchell with the look. He is, as I mentioned earlier, really good passer from the high post. He puts it down. It's a quick 6 spot inside for Boston College. The ball is knocked out of bounds. It'll stay with Duke. There is Jim Christian, the head coach of the Eagles. He is in his 6th season here at Boston College. Going to celebrate his 54th birthday on Thursday. A little early present if he could pull the upset against the Blue Devils.
Well, beating Duke is the gift that keeps on giving. I mean, that's something you can build on.
And Wendell Moore was driving, and Wendell, who fouled out of the Syracuse game in his first game back from a broken hand, gets an early quick foul. There is Mike Krzyzewski, the Hall of Famer, all-time wins leader in his 40th season as the Duke head coach. 5 national championships, the Olympic gold. We were talking to him before the game. John, he just really enjoys the growth of this team and the work and the effort that they've put in to improve. A shot on the way from the elbow and a second chance for Boston College, and Heath has it out front.
Well, it's a completely different process than it was last year. I mean, understandably so when you think about the talent. And we said that coming into this game, the talent is not what separates you. It's execution, it's attention to detail. And I think deep down inside, coaches like that progress the most. I mean, don't get me wrong, having Zion Williamson's not bad either.
Jim Christian has put this team together. You know, look, he's lost a couple of really high-level guards in Kai Bowman and Jerome Robinson over the last couple of years. Has Derek Thornton come in from USC, who has the ball now to try to be a bit of a stopgap. They have some really good young players, including that one. C.J. Felder missed 3. Duke has some reinforcements on the floor. Alex O'Connell's out there, Jack White, Javin DeLaurier's in, and Duke is finally on the board with the bucket.
Just miscommunication. When defense doesn't get set, that's the best time to attack. And if there's anybody on the floor that feels that out well, it's Trey Jones.
Trey Jones, perfect from the free throw line, 17 points in that really impressive win at Syracuse on Saturday. And the foul call on the floor, Pat Driscoll's going to get Jack White for the hold. Duke had a couple of things going on Saturday with his coaching staff. John Shire, who had to have an emergency appendectomy, he's not with the team tonight. We wish John the best. I'm sure he's watching and hope he feels better soon. Nolan Smith, who is, you see Nate James and Chris Carrawell on either side of Mike Krzyzewski, and Nolan's on the sideline as well. His daughter was in the hospital. She's doing much better, so he wasn't at Syracuse either. And Thornton is called for the travel. He caught the ball and almost, I think, was surprised that no one was close by.
Yeah, I'm sure John Shire's watching, but he's probably not listening.
Well, he should, because he can learn a lot from us. Kidding, John. He knows that's not true.
Yes.
Delorier with a high ball screen. Jones throws it away. Mitchell has it. Has Popovich running with him. And Nick Popovich, who's back from a back injury, didn't play in the first meeting against the Blue Devils, in Boston College with an 8-2 lead.
Well, Coach K mentioned how much of a difference maker he is. He fills a lot of holes for this Boston College team, particularly just his ability to defend, but get out and run.
Excellent defense by Jared Hamilton, who's in the game, who goes in and ties it up. Boston College out of the shoot quick team. You see how they've struggled against the Blue Devils, but most have. They've never defeated Carolina and Duke in consecutive games. They're coming off a victory in Chapel Hill, though this is the fourth team that Duke has faced this year coming off a victory against North Carolina. Wendell Moore had to beat the shot clock, and Boston College pushing, and Thornton's pass is a little too long for Nick Popovich, who is running the floor.
So remember that conversation we had with Coach Christian about whether that's a good turnover or not? That's actually an okay turnover. That's an aggressive turnover. It's the ones that end up becoming pick sixes. You know, a Cassius Stanley steal and dunk. That's what they want to eliminate. So again, Boston College continuing to be aggressive.
Jay Heath was forcing Jones to the baseline. They still got it out and swung it around, and nothing but Boston College jerseys on the glass. And this is an excellent rebounding Duke team. Jay Heath, O'Connell guarding Thornton. Throwing it back was part of what they wanted to do against the Blue Devils, driving and kicking it behind the players. Thornton's going to step inside the three-point arc and can it.
It's amazing the rhythm that Boston College has been able to create with good movement. And again, a lot of their movement comes with the dribble. They use the bounce to move the defense. And I just watch eyeballs. I watch defenders' eyeballs. They follow the basketball, and that's where they can tend to get lost.
Jack White, a little shuffling there, and that pass just eluded O'Connell. The high head, the flush for Jared Hamilton. Jones misses, and a blocking foul is going to be called by Pat Driscoll.
I look at Boston College and say, yes, you don't have a deep bench, but the guys on the floor create great energy. They create their own rhythm, offensive rebound, and a simple run. I mean, look, this is the stuff we're talking about. Duke can't get away with just being the more athletic or more talented team. They've got to do the little things right. That includes getting back on defense, stopping the basketball, no gambles at half court.
Well, they need to get some easy buckets. Jim Christian told us today that he probably needed 80 points to win the game, as Matthew Hurt has one rollout, gets his own and misses. Mitchell fighting for it, but it was Jarius Hamilton that pulled it away. And this is the second lowest scoring team in the ACC, averaging just under 65 points per game. So easy buckets would be very helpful if they want to get to that 80-point mark. Hamilton from the corner.
Look, easy buckets means you have to move the basketball and be patient. That's usually an easy bucket right there.
Vernon Carey can't get it to go, and Duke, the lid's just on the bucket for the Blue Devils now. And another, it's not a live ball turnover, but now Jim Christian said,
I don't know about that one.
Easy, Jay Heath.
Yeah, look, you don't want to sail one into row 6, seat 7, but this basket right, look, this is usually a simple make for Vernon Carey. You got to wonder, again, rhythm affects layups, too. You start looking around for defenders, and that's exactly what Vernon Carey did.
Duke has now missed 7 consecutive shots
In and out, too.
Yeah, several have been all around the rim and everything but down in the bottom of the bucket. 1 of 11 from the floor in Boston College with a double-digit lead. Hamilton firing for 3. There's Mitchell on the offensive glass, had it knocked away, and it'll stay with Boston College.
Again, the movement with the bounce, it does move the defense. And talking to Coach K before the game, he said really the way to move the defense is to do it by passing the basketball. But I'm watching this defense. They are rotating with the basketball, not just rotating their bodies, but turning their eyes. And that's where back cuts happen. That's where you don't realize how far from the basket you are as a defender. The lane opens up.
Julian Rishwain is checked into the game for Boston College. He's number 2. There is Jarius Hamilton driving, and he couldn't get the rebound to go, and Cassius Stanley using that 46-inch vertical to get it.
I think he just used about 26 of it on that one.
And it's going to be an over and back call as Goldwire has had it kick off his knee. And Duke's out of sorts.
It's one of those things, it's just a head scratcher. When you think about so many of these shots have been in and out, who's going to be the spark plug? You just need to see one go down. I mean, this is a Duke team that can create offense very quickly. I also think if you look at Boston College, they haven't turned the basketball over and haven't lead to an easy basket for Duke. So you talk about the live ball turnovers. Yes, they've had a couple ugly, careless turnovers, but hasn't led to an easy basket.
John, this is the highest scoring team in the ACC, second in the country. They average 83 points a game. Duke's got 2 in 7.5 minutes. And that'll be a travel on Rishwain, the freshman from Sherman Oaks, California.
So I go back to it. I actually like in some of these games a shorter bench. I mean, first off, I'm thinking selfishly as a player, I want to play 40 minutes. But I also think you get into a rhythm of the game and you can sustain that as opposed to having 10 guys play and the rhythm shifts with different lineups.
Carey with the quick spin baseline. Mitchell blocked it, but a foul's called. And a foul is going to be called on Stephon Mitchell.
Yeah, Boston College, they have to know that if you're not there early, Rishwain's got to be there early enough to at least negate that spin.
And Carey steps to the free throw line, just 61% on the year, but hit 8 out of 10 Saturday night in Syracuse.
Sometimes the best way to defend a big, even if, Vernon Carey got that thing 10, 12 feet from the basket, but you have to show as a backside help. Just show that you're there, and it keeps him from spinning to the basket.
That was the Blue Devils' first point in more than 4.5 minutes. Double screen out top for Thornton.
You don't see that every day.
Now Mitchell is going right at Hurt. Matthew does a good job to cut him off. Goldwire slaps it away out of bounds. It'll stay with Boston College. BC with a 12-4 lead. About 6 weeks until Selection Sunday. We'll take a look. Hey, Heath, I think that one was going to be too easy. A beautifully designed baseline underneath play that Heath lost out of bounds. There are opportunities in the conference for good wins, but only the 3 you mentioned were great wins. Certainly beating Virginia is a good win. Beating North Carolina State. And you're still beating those guys in baby blue. And Duke has been more than 5 minutes without a field goal. It's as if the basket's crooked.
Well, I think you need road wins. I mean, that's what we seem to value the most. Wow.
How about Derek Thornton taking it to the cup? Excellent anticipation and hands by Mitchell to deflect it away, but Stanley was there to pick it up, and Boston College has another Duke miss. They have missed their last 9. Here's Heath. And Carey corrals the rebound. Blue Devils have 1 field goal. Matthew Hurd, who had a big game against Boston College last time, can't get the 3. He'll have 1 from 2. And finally, Duke sees one go through the bucket.
A second chance opportunity is a great way to get back into the game. I mean, offense just isn't flowing. And that's been the problem for Duke. So you do have to be aggressive on the offensive glass and try to make something happen defensively.
Thornton goes right by Goldwire, and it rattles out on him. Stanley in transition. Oh, and he took one right across the chops, and He'll go to the free throw line and shoot a couple. Foul was called on C.J. Felder. As soon as we are done here at Conti Forum, we will take you to Rupp Arena in Lexington. John Calipari and the Cats, coming off a hard-fought loss at Auburn on Saturday, will take on Mississippi State. Cats have won 13 straight against Old Bully. Last loss coming in 2009. You can watch it live on the ESPN app as well.
All right, just keep an eye on this. I don't want to jump the gun here, but offensive rebound, stick back, and then a missed opportunity on one side, even though you got a good look for Boston College, and it's a run out and 2 foul shots. Let's just see how this turns things around. Hard for Boston College to kind of stay on the gas all the way throughout the first half, although you have to.
Jared Hamilton stepped back and shoots an air ball.
That's not what got him the lead. And Cassius Stanley is a very good defender, so you've got to continue to move that basketball. Like I said before, even with the bounce, they've had success.
Hurt was very fortunate not to be called for a travel. Dragged that pivot foot on the stop. Thornton is all up on Trey Jones, giving Trey a little bit of his own medicine, and Vernon Carey has a bucket inside, and after the terrible start, the Blue Devils are back to within 4.
There comes a point in offensive possession where you have to, if you're Boston College, force the ball to the other side of the floor. Vernon Carey just held position there.
Stepped in and swiped it. Popovich is back. Carey tried to go over the top of him. It'll be a foul called on Nick Popovich.
Look, the post-repost opportunity is one of the best things in basketball, and we don't do it enough. A lot of times you don't get it in there, you throw to the opposite side. This was good. I like how the ball stayed on one side of the floor, and you look at the work from Vernon Carey. Great understanding, great feel, and terrific footwork. And oh, by the way, he's just bigger and stronger than anybody else.
You see what Vernon's done his last 2 games, shooting 65% from the floor, getting 26 in each of them, 26 and 17 Saturday night at Syracuse.
You know, the ball going through the basket that much is more a byproduct of hard work to get position. You win the position battle down low and you have size and skill, you win the game. It's simple as that.
Carey has 5, and Javin DeLaurier will give him a break.
And it has to be a collective defensive effort for Boston College, where it's not just the guy trying to win position in the post, it's guards forcing the ball back away from Vernon Carey's side of the floor.
7-0 surge from the Blue Devils, and Boston College could really use a basket here. Thornton step back. There it is, the leading scorer. The veteran point guard giving Boston College a much-needed bucket.
Well, they got the switch they wanted, and when you get the switch you want, when you get that guy, that matchup that you like, you've got to attack it. And a rhythm jumper like that is a higher percentage shot than most think.
Thornton already with 6, which matches his output. And he faced Duke in Cameron Indoor, his first return since transferring away. Now running ahead of the field, and Jarius Hamilton slipped as he was going to the bucket. DeLaurier's on the deck, and did he get the timeout call? I believe he did. So this will be a 30-second timeout as DeLaurier. It's called excellent producing. Trey Jones shaking a couple of defenders and rising up. Top of the backboard won't go, and Boston College with Popovich clearing it away. 5-point lead for the Eagles.
It's an interesting lineup for Duke without Vernon Carey on the floor. I want to see where the offense is going to come, and defense can be a little bit more flexible here if you're Boston College. You still have to stop the ball.
James with the pull-up, and I think they're going to call DeLaurier for pushing off.
You know, at times when you don't get a basket, you feel as if I've got to feed the post. We got to get Carey the ball. The problem is the ball doesn't move as well. So while the Boston College defense and offense has been good and has helped eliminate rhythm from the Duke offense, you yourselves as Duke's offense trying to take rhythm out of the offensive side of the ball too. I'm trying to get a point out somewhere in there. It'll make sense.
Carrying wide of return for the Blue Devils. And Jack White with the steal as Heath got himself in trouble. Now White to Cassius Stanley. And Jim Christian,
Yeah.
not going to let that momentum train get started.
Yeah. Look, Boston College fans got up off their feet for that one. Whether you're wearing blue or white, it don't matter. Holy smokes.
How much of the 46-inch vertical did he use there?
50. I mean, come on.
Well, thank
my
you very much,
God.
Cassius. I don't know about you, but I'd like to see another look at this high rising from Cassius Stanley.
It's so humbling. You know what I mean? I think about like walking up the stairs at night, and it kind of hurts just thinking about it. This guy just jumped, God knows how many feet up in the air. It was a bad pass too. And not only did that look awesome, and it's 2 points, live ball turnover, you get something going offensively, but even the Boston College fans got up off their feet. And watching the body language of Boston College players coming back out on the floor, they seem dejected.
It was almost a necessary timeout from Jim Christian. He also needs to settle Jay Heath down. He's had a couple of ill-advised passes, and that was a tough shot from Jarius Hamilton that Carey wipes away.
But that's the thing. I mean, you forget about what got you the lead if you're Boston College when you have plays like that. That's the killer. That's what's so tough about highlights like that.
And Stanley tried to follow up the dunk with a 3-ball. Mitchell's going to push it himself. Boston College's last 15 possessions, 2 for 10. Now 16 possessions, 2 for 10, and 6 turnovers. Well, Saturday we're going to have college basketball's greatest rivalry when you see the Duke Blue Devils take on North Carolina. Cole Anthony is back. He'll be at the Dean Smith Center, part of a Sonic Blockbuster Saturday, 6 Eastern on ESPN. The ESPN app, you can watch it anywhere. College Game Day will be in Chapel Hill to get things started, 11 a.m. Eastern on Saturday morning. Wendell Moore.
That's really pretty. I mean, that is just a great read. Good pass fake from Jack White. You know, they overplayed defensively. You stop at the foul line. You pull up for a jump shot. It's kind of a rarity in basketball these days, but a good read. We won't celebrate it like the highlight dunks, but still the same amount of points.
Thornton and Trey Jones almost came up with the steal. Here's Heath getting in, and it'll be an offensive foul on Jay Heath. He's having a little bit of a rough night. Heath had 8 points in the game in Cameron against him, but he's picked up his first foul.
Look, it's hard to celebrate this as much as Cassius Stanley's breakaway dunk, but that's great basketball. The pull-up, good balance, good read, defense overplays, takes the pass away. That's what you're looking for. Those are the things that we're talking about in terms of polish, right? Making the right reads, hitting back defender.
How about that position? And Carey just muscled Stephon Mitchell under the basket and out of the play, and the Blue Devils have their first lead of the night.
He's just impressive, but what impresses me the most is his feel for the game. I think that's the most impressive thing about it. Such a young kid with great physical attributes, but he has good feel for the basketball game and great touch.
Thornton kicks it back. Jared Hamilton, hard shot off the front of the iron. Thornton will follow it up. He misses, and Stanley has Duke on the run.
I still go back. I mean, this was a while ago in the game, but the offensive rebound, put back, and then a steal and 2 points from the foul line for Cassius Stanley. That seemed to just turn this thing around.
Good defense from BC. Shot clock's at 5. Moore's in a little trouble. Carey barely beat. No, they called it a shot clock violation. Wouldn't have counted anyway, I don't think. Maybe it's because it was an air ball, but either way, it's Boston College basketball.
You know, in that situation, you always look to your point guard. I mean, you constantly have to have an awareness of the shot clock, and what you're doing is you're feeling out the possession. There are times when you as a point guard don't need to run to the basketball, grab it just because there's 10 seconds on the shot clock, but if you realize nothing's going on and you can't really move the basketball, that's the time to go grab it, call for a ball screen to clear out.
The numbers on the screen show you that we have not exactly been putting on a three-point shooting clinic here so far. Combined 0 for 15 between the two teams. Eric Thornton, a little teardrop. And Thornton now has 8 as Boston College moves back on top. Might know Thornton's story, reclassified to be a freshman at Duke. Played on the Brandon Ingram team. Grayson Allen transferred after a year to USC. He's had some injury issues. Coming here to play his last year, and the ball is deflected off the Blue Devil, and it'll be Boston College basketball.
Well, I do have to give BC credit. I mean, their energy's been good. Wasn't so good after the Cassius Stanley dunk, but their energy's been good, and just seeing the basketball go through the hoop. I think Thornton's jump shot was bigger than you realize. It just gives you confidence that even when things get down, you can find a way to stay in this basketball game and maintain some semblance of a lead.
He has said all of the right things about departing from Duke, but those close to him will tell you, look, he obviously wants to play well. He did not at Cameron Indoor. He is tonight as he switched hands and couldn't get it amongst the trees. That was a sweet move, but he couldn't finish it.
No foul, a lot of contact.
Jack White, and still no three-pointer made.
I will say, look, it may look like a foul. I'd like to, maybe look at it again, but they are trying to allow players to play straight up. And I like that there's more no calls in college basketball than constant whistles. The NBA game does that so well. I mean, these guys are so athletic, so physically gifted, and have the body control of guys at another level.
Great defensive play by Stephon Mitchell, and it'll stay with Duke to knock it away. So Boston College has come to fight tonight. Duke has righted the ship a bit, but the Eagles still with a 1-point lead as we're at the under 4. I would say that Seth just drew the flagrant 2 in the ejection, so it'll just be Kevin DeGandhi and LaFonso Ellis.
Really, he's just quality control in there anyway. Just in case we say something wrong, he'll correct us.
Jack White tried to go over the top. Duke still, they don't realize the shot clock didn't reset. White got it off just in time. C.J. Felder pulling away the rebound as we head toward the 3-minute mark, and it has not been an offensive masterpiece, but Boston College has shown a great deal more fight than they did in the first meeting in Cameron. And Duke, as you heard LaFonso say, it was a little bit flat coming out as Nick Popovich, who missed 9 games this year with back trouble, gives the Eagles a 3-point lead.
He did a terrific job of selling that handoff and turning the corner. And he did it with his eyes in his chest. That slight hesitation allows him to turn the corner.
Jack White absolutely traveled there and got away with it. 13 on the shot clock, 2.5 to go. Substitutions coming into the game as Matthew Hurt comes back. Stanley and Wendell Moore also returning.
There are times like that, we come back to the game from studio, and the first thing I think is, I wish I've been here longer. Because the longer you're here, the more leash you have, the more you can get away with saying. So,
yeah?
Yeah, so I'm hoping a little longevity, a little more for Seth.
Patience.
Yes.
Vernon Carey. Still no 3 balls tonight. And he goes high to soar and pull it down. The freshman from Washington, D.C. heaved all the way to the basket.
That's one of the challenges when a guard gets a rebound and they just slowly push it up, but the head's constantly up looking to attack.
Hey, Heath gets a steal from Winston into the open floor, and Moore saves the bucket. So Jay Heath struggled early, had 4 early turnovers, drew a little calm down from Christian, but he's settled into the game in the last couple of possessions.
Look, you got to look at the eyes. As he's dribbling up, he sees that paint's wide open. And no one converging, no one stopping the basketball. You're able to turn the corner, get a good finish. Now, the communication part of defense is everything. We talked about that with Coach K, and communication has been an issue defensively for Duke so far. I think even on the offensive end, it's been an issue.
They're only shooting 22% of the Blue Devils, and inside, and Carey swats it away. And Popovich knew he was in trouble the whole time there. A look of frustration on the face coming back. Now he's in trouble defensively. Carey right underneath the bucket.
That's
and
a really,
Carey has 9.
That's a high-level finish. Again, feeling defenders. He just kind of changes his direction in the air and soft touch around the rim.
Thornton kicking it to the corner. Darius Hamilton, still no 3. That was a good look at it. Thornton mid-range, and he's into double figures.
if you get to the basket, you kick out, get an open three, there's a good chance you're going to have guys in position to get that offensive rebound because the defense is scrambling. And Boston College has been good on the offensive glass.
This is going to be the fewest points Duke has scored in a half, sitting on a 19 with 45 seconds to play in the first half. Jones in trouble. Matthew Herter had 25 in the first meeting against BC, only a deuce tonight. And Stephon Mitchell with another rebound for Boston College. Mitchell already approaching double figures in rebounds. He's got 9 boards in the first half. Of course, there have been a ton of missed shots for him to choose from.
This is always half empty with you, isn't it?
Hamilton tried again. Another good look from the corner. Still won't go, and Duke will have an opportunity for the last shot. Trey Jones all the way to the cup. Now a few seconds left if Boston College hurries. Mitchell from three-quarters court. How fitting would that have been if that had been our first 3 of the night?
He would have looked at you, too, and said, count it.
Look at the differential from the New Year's
College. Boston College has been able to be the aggressor and maintain that assertiveness throughout the first half because Duke just couldn't get it going from offense. Now, Vernon Carey will impact this basketball game. He'll get himself in position. But you still, if you're Duke, you need to get some spacing. You need to find some balance, and that means make some threes. Right now, 0-12 the first half from 3 for Duke.
Derek Thornton leads all scorers with 10 points, the former Duke player by way of USC and now at Boston College with 10. Vernon Carey had 9 and asserted himself, particularly later in the half. And for some reason, we have 15 minutes up on the game clock. Have they changed the rules and didn't tell me? It's in the arena also, by the way. It's not just... Okay, they've seen it. Pat Driscoll always on the case. There we go. I thought maybe we'd gone to 15-minute quarters and no one bothered to tell me. So Stephon Mitchell right in front of us. Going to put it in play eventually if they get the clock all straightened out. Mitchell had 9 rebounds in the first half, did not make a field goal, did not score. Boston College didn't shoot a free throw in the first half, didn't shoot a free throw, didn't make a 3, and yet they're up by 3.
Yeah, Mitchell's also the initiator. I mean, you kind of eliminate pressure by having him bring it up.
Thornton dribbles it around a lot in front of Trey Jones and lives to tell about it. Jay Heath misses. Felder, the freshman, with the rebound, and Trey Jones is going to be called for the foul.
That's the thing, too. Boston College has created some opportunities with these offensive rebounds. I mean, just keeping the play alive, it gives you even more confidence. Your ability to just put up shots. Go after it. They haven't given up too much in transition. It's often the sacrifice. You go on the offensive glass, you give up an easy bucket in transition. That hasn't been the case.
And another foul, this one called on Wendell Moore. To your point on the rebounds, John, Boston College has out-rebounded Duke, and Duke in the top 20 in the country in rebound margin. They're an excellent offensive rebounding team.
Well, Duke usually makes some more shots,
that's
too.
True,
I mean,
too.
That's the thing. There's been a lot of misses.
That's what I said about Mitchell getting close to double figures in rebounds. There have been ample opportunities for rebounds on both sides. But to Boston College's credit, they have gotten more of them so far. Kick to the corner. Mitchell gets his 3 blocked by Moore. Trey Jones on the push, loses it momentarily. Alex O'Connell starting the second half. O'Connell with a forced pass to Carey, who still got his mitts around it and slammed it home.
But that's the type of feel I'm talking about. I mean, he just has a knack for finding the basketball. I mean, deflected pass, he picks up on it very quickly. Gathers himself, finishes strong.
Duke trying to get some offense with O'Connell in there. Mitchell goes right at him, but can't score. Wendell Moore. There is O'Connell for 3. Look at Carey muscling in and getting the board and drawing the foul.
I mean, it's going to take 2 to keep him off the glass. You get an open shot, you start running at shooters, and yeah, it's going to take more than that to keep him off the offensive glass. Especially when shots aren't falling. You almost get to a point, if you're Vernon Carey, you play for the miss.
Second foul on C.J. Felder. Nick Popovich is waiting at the scorer's table for Jim Christian as Carey nestles in the free throw, and he's up to a dozen tonight.
I guess that's what rebounding is in general. You always play for the miss.
Always prepared for it. Carey certainly is. With that free throw, Vernon Carey has now scored more points than the rest of his Duke teammates. He scored 13, the rest of the Blue Devils with a dozen, and Duke has a 1-point lead.
But you know what that's going to mean at the end of the game if Duke wins? You know the answer, right? Absolutely nothing. At this point, it's about getting a win. You want to build on something. You want to find that polish we talked about. They came out flat in the first half.
Well, Popovich putting him in the rocking chair, but can't finish with the baby hook. And Hamilton with the foul. Jarius Hamilton, the younger of the two Hamilton brothers, with the offensive rebound and the score.
When you look at the lineup, this small lineup for Duke, you've got to be active if you're a guard on the defensive glass, and that hasn't been the case.
Ill-advised bounce pass attempt by Wendell Moore results in a turnover.
Can you tell where Duke's trying to go in terms of their offense?
He's to the back of that one.
Duke is going to feed that thing in low as much as possible. And that track ball, that ball screen in transition, it's so hard to defend. You see teams go to that more and more.
Second foul on Carey. Jay Heath. First free throw of the night for the Eagles, and it's good. And Boston College back on top by 4 in the early moments here in the second half. Reese Davis, Sean Crispin, glad to have you along. Super Tuesday from the ACC. Duke trying to keep pace with Florida State, second place. Game in the loss column behind Louisville in the ACC standings. Boston College looking for a huge signature win. It's Trey Jones softly rolls one in.
That's tough. That's going to be hard to defend. Trey Jones doing a great job using his body, just elevating, giving it a chance on the rim. He's a guy that you look for here. You look for leadership, right? You look for the guy on the floor that's going to pick the body language up, create some opportunities for teammates, too.
Goes Heath on the bounce. Thornton now shot clock getting deep inside 5. Thornton in trouble and threw it to a dude who paid for a ticket in the front row. Turnovers, a little bit of a problem for both Boston College guards, each of them with 4 so far. Now Duke has made at least one three-pointer in 1,080 consecutive games. Made one in every game since 1989. Number 3 going in, and he'll go to the free throw line as Trey Jones draws the foul. We saw Vanderbilt earlier this year, who'd made a 3 in every game since the three-point line was drawn on the court, go 0 for 25 against Tennessee and have that streak snapped. So first things first, I know what you said earlier, just win the game, but these little statistical nuggets make it fun, John.
They do for us. Look, I think Duke's going to end up knocking down a 3 at some point.
I would say the odds are that that is likely. That's more good producing.
Oh, yes,
from Matt Bartley, our producer, to make sure that we get that note in before, somebody knocks down a 3.
I think the best producing is when I forget that they're even there. Isn't that the case?
I usually just turn off my headset so I can't hear them.
Fair enough. Yeah,
I only listen to you half the time.
And you don't even do that half the time.
There's a lot to get through.
I'm still trying to process. Look, I do think Duke at some point, especially with this smaller lineup, take a basket when you get a basket, but I think you got to move it. You've got to move the bodies. You got to move the basketball, create space. They haven't had good spacing, and that leads to bad offense.
It was a nice move inside from Wendell Moore to get that one to pull us back even. Into the spin cycle. Popovich scores.
Popovich is going to start demanding the ball a little bit more. He had space to work, and that's the second time he went to the reverse dribble to spin.
He's got a half dozen now. Creating a little space. Jones throws up a wild shot. Jarius Hamilton the rebound. Heath does not have numbers. He does have Popovich. Rattles out another rebound for Carey, who goes behind his back. Moore. It's gets an advantage, couldn't finish. A lot of contact, no foul called, and I think that was appropriate.
You don't want to reward an offensive player who is just out of control.
Two hands on the dribbler will often get you a call out front. Goldwire got away with it. Darius Hamilton rises up, crashing the boards is Jared Hamilton to keep Carey from getting it, but Duke still controls. Carey running the floor, and in there to draw the charge is Darius Hamilton. And the foul called on Carey is his third.
You liked it, Reese. You liked the Popovich spin.
Kevin, you leave the bracketology from Joe Lenardi's. He continues to fill up our inboxes, and rightfully so as we get closer and closer to Selection Sunday. 11 teams from the Big Ten currently in the field of 68, according to Joey Brackets. That would leave Northwestern, Nebraska, Minnesota at the moment on the outside looking in. Thornton goes and scores, and Minnesota probably at least has a chance to play its way in, because in the Big Ten, John, you can get a lot of quality opportunities for quality wins.
Especially when you think of a quad 2 team on the road, that becomes a quad 1 win. So I mean, there are great opportunities within the conference to pick up wins. That's been the challenge with the ACC this year.
Bring Carey inside. Now he got hacked across the wrist, and now Carey pulled Stephon Mitchell to the floor, and if the foul's on him, that's going to be 4. So with 14:44 remaining here to play, Duke's really only offensive threat tonight is going to go to the bench with 4 fouls.
And that's been a big issue. Offensively, they have been trying to get the ball inside, but you got to give BC credit. They've just crowded the paint, made everything difficult. And a previous foul, the offensive foul, was the real killer for him.
Weave out top. Thornton, who just hit a jumper, got himself in trouble, and now he's turned it over for the 5th time tonight. Let's have a look at that 4th foul again, John.
It looked violent. I thought they would have gone to the monitor just because we kind of do that for anything. I don't know. Maybe it was a foul and a flop. I mean, if you really go to the monitor, you can make things up. Slow motion does wonders to fouls.
Stanley gets it and 1. Cassius Stanley has had some clutch moments in his freshman season here at Duke. Gives the Blue Devils a needed basket here and a chance for a 3-point play.
You know, I think we get so focused on the highlights of Cassius Stanley that we don't realize, like, he's still a great basketball player. He's got the potential to take this thing to another level. I think at times he needs to be more assertive. If you have space, attack. Great physicality, can handle contact, can finish, can shoot. He's a guy I expect more of.
Stephon Mitchell thought he had felt or maybe a touch late, and a steal for the Blue Devils. Trey Jones.
And those are the ones that Jim Christian said we've got to eliminate. Live ball turnovers that lead to an easy run. That's a 3-on-0 break.
Boston College with 13 turnovers, and Blue Devils have turned it into 16 points. Thornton goes all the way in, and Javin DeLaurier will be called for the foul.
He said it, live ball turnovers, especially when you're trying to attack as much as Boston College is. I mean, you get a lot of guys towards the basket, nobody back. Too easy, and Duke takes the lead. I mean, quietly takes the lead, right? It doesn't feel like that.
Derek Thornton is right on his average, or less than a point below it. Boston College's leading scorer, and now matches Carey for the leading scorer in this game and pulls us even. Nick Popovich returns for Boston College as Stephon Mitchell will take a break.
Popovich and Mitchell on the floor at the same time has been very good, because when Popovich is able to make plays, you got Mitchell getting off after it on the offensive glass. And you're likely going to be playing, you know, with Vernon Carey on the bench. At least a few more minutes.
Jones gets deep in the paint, and he is fouled by Thornton, and Trey will go to the line and shoot a couple.
And that offense looks a lot better because they've got space. And they haven't had great spacing. You go to this smaller lineup kind of out of necessity with the foul trouble for Vernon Carey. And you just go dribble, weave, you create, you be aggressive, get the ball into the paint, get jump shot opportunities.
That is not the face of a pleased coach at the moment.
No.
Jones, a 75% free throw shooter. The foul on Thornton was his second.
And when it comes to games, coaches are rarely pleased anyway. You know, they can be up 30 and they're going to find problems. That's what makes them great coaches.
You don't have to look quite as deep tonight. Is that fair?
Yeah. Yes, you know, it's fair.
Blue Devils up by a deuce. Still looking for our first three-pointer of the night. C.J. Felder couldn't get the easy two-pointer. Wendell Moore puts his head down, has a little space. Heath cuts him off. Wendell gets it up. Stanley went skying with the ball hit the rim again. So now here comes Thornton. The lefty, the elder Hamilton Jared missed from the baseline, and now Duke in transition, leaving it for Jones. Here's a three ball, and it still won't go. Stanley keeps it alive.
I mean, the shooting has kind of been atrocious tonight. There's no way to say it. I mean, they've gotten good looks. Just can't get a jump shot to go. Feels like whoever makes the first three is going to win this game.
Duke's 0 for 14 from three. Jordan Goldwire missed, and then Delorier fouled Heath, who was getting out of there with a rebound. That's three on Javin.
This has just kind of been an ugly day. There's only so much you can say. This is an easy shot opportunity. That's what we saw in the first half. Duke had decent looks, just couldn't get them to go. A lot of them were in and out.
Just under 12 and a half to play. Boston College is already in the bonus, so Heath will be shooting the 1-and-1.
And this is where, if you're Boston College, you look to attack. You attack the basket, you attack with the bounce, and force the officials to call hand check.
Now, it is worth pointing out, as Heath misses the free throw right on cue, that Boston College is the worst free throw shooting team in the ACC. So being in the bonus might not necessarily be a big advantage to them. Made just under 65% on the season. They're last in the ACC, 323rd in the country. It's about 30 from the bottom.
You say that like they're shooting a better percentage from 2 or 3. I still take the foul shots.
There's Heath, and still no three. And let's see who the foul is going to be called on. Goldwire had his hand on him, and I think the foul was on Jordan. And Duke has a 2-point lead. We're at the under 12 here in Conti 4.
I don't know how that's possible. I know you put out there on Twitter as what the probability of that was. Someone said, what, 1 in 800-some-thousand?
Yeah, so he
just
said
made that up.
I think so. I think he just made it up because some guys said, depending on which model you use, it'd be 1 in 880,000.
So they started like they're really smart, too.
Yeah.
Like, well, depending on the model you use, I probably would have said the same thing. I have no idea. But it's probably a lot more than that.
I think it's highly unlikely, and it's been remarkable. And even with North Carolina being 2 games under 500, you know it's going to be an intense atmosphere on Saturday night. Joey Baker into the game. He draws the foul, and he's not going to get a three-pointer, but a chance at a three-point play.
Went to the zone. It was interesting going to zone. You know, clearly you got some guys on the floor that have had a tough time keeping the dribble drive in front. Joey Baker, a little up fake, old school one dribble pull up. It really shouldn't be old school. It should be just a good basketball move, but we just don't see so many threes and layups or dunks.
That's because the analytics say that's not the most advantageous shot, as I have you roll your eyes. I'm not saying necessarily I agree with that. I think it is a part of the game, can be very effective if you're good at it.
You know what the most advantageous shot is?
Happen.
The most advantageous shot is an open look. An open look.
You mean like this?
Please, God.
Popovich! The lid is off the three ball. First one of the night for either team. BC 1 of 13, and Boston College has the lead. Jones cutting back door, gives it to Delorier, who goes to the other side of the bucket and scores.
Much better offense from Duke. I think Joey Baker being on the floor, the up fake, taking a dribble, defense comes his way, good back cut, opens up opportunities.
Popovich just made the three, so Goldwire gets up underneath him. Thornton driving and scoring with the left hand.
It's funny, I mean, the entire energy of the building changed after seeing a three-ball go in.
17 for the former Duke point guard, leading Boston College. A turnover, and maybe, we'll see if it's a foul on Jones or just a turnover, and it is. It'll be a 1-and-1, and we'll check in quickly with Kevin Nagandi.
RD, check this out. ACC Network after beating Kentucky, Auburn at Arkansas. What is going on with the Tigers? Desi Sills, a beautiful pass to Mason Jones, well on his way to his third straight 30-point game. 9-point lead right now for Arkansas. Back to you guys.
All right, Kevin, so Boston College up by 1 as Jim Christian sees his point guard, Derek Thornton, who's had an outstanding game, shooting the front end of the 1-and-1 and making it. Of note, Vernon Carey has returned to the floor for Duke. He is playing with 4 fouls. When he left, Boston College had a 4-point lead. He returns, and it's a 3-point lead now for the Eagles. BC lost to Duke in Cameron on New Year's Eve by 39. Not sure we expected this, and through 30 minutes, the Eagles have been fighting their guts out against the Blue Devils. Trey Jones no good, and Hamilton lost the control of the rebound. Carey fighting for it and has it taken away.
Well, it's just a Boston College swarm down there. They're all following that basketball, and I think subconsciously Boston College knows that Duke has not been a threat from the perimeter.
Thornton turns the corner. Carey went up and got the rebound. BC has it back as they took it away as he lost control, and now the Blue Devils corral it and keep it. Like to see them get the ball inside the Carey here.
Yeah, but you don't want him to get it in a position where he could turn and pick up an offensive foul. There's going to be backside help. They're going to full front Vernon Carey. That's a good way to turn the corner. I mean, you just saw it.
How about the lift that Joey Baker has given Duke off the bench here with some offense?
The thing is, he's creating offense by drawing that defense out. The defense has to close hard on Joey Baker. They're more concerned with the jump shot than him going to the basket, but he's had a good knack for finding opportunities.
Joey Baker, the sophomore who late last season with some injuries, and most notably the one to Zion Williamson, had his red shirt pulled late in the year. Had some good moments this season.
Oh, he's important for this team. He really is. A good floor spacer, but another guy who has a good feel for the game.
He got a DNP against Syracuse on Saturday, but boy has really answered the bell with a 3-point play here, and Baker now with 5 points. Duke is back even as we're inside the 9-minute mark.
Interesting to see where the offense is going to come from for Boston College with Thornton on the bench.
It comes from Jay Heath.
There you go. I guess it wasn't that interesting. He knew right away. You turn that corner, they're clearly going to attack Vernon Carey too. And you know Vernon Carey doesn't want to fully commit to blocking that shot.
He's trying to stay in front of Trey Jones. He can't, and fighting for the ball, and Mitchell pulls it out of there for Boston College. You can see, and rightfully so, Carey trying to make sure he doesn't pick up that 5th foul. He has to. It's a smart thing to do, but sometimes the loose balls, Boston College been a little more aggressive. Mitchell on the follow. And Duke's going to take a timeout. believe the number is 28 top 10 teams have lost to unranked opponents. It's already more than happened all of last season. Duke trying to avoid that fate. Vernon Carey playing with 4 fouls.
Yeah, playing with 4 fouls and trying to avoid picking up that 5th, obviously, but he takes himself completely out of the play. I mean, I understand why. You don't want to pick up that 5th foul, but you also don't want to concede a layup. You got to understand that Boston College is going to attack Vernon Carey, but you can't take yourself completely out of the play. You'd be surprised to see a little offense-defense.
Carey trying to post up Mitchell inside. Jones looking to him. Baker for 3. And the first 3 ball of the night for Duke. And the streak goes to 1,081 in consecutive games with a 3. And how about Baker? What a lift he's given them offensively off the bench.
He's one of the few guys that have come into this game and has had good energy. We haven't seen that.
Take it to Rupp Arena, 9 Eastern. Coach Cal and the Cats taking on Mississippi State. Kentucky coming off that just brutal fist fight against Auburn on Saturday that the Tigers won. Inside as Jarius Hamilton scores for BC.
That was terrific execution against the zone. Duke came out, went zone, probably to protect Vernon Carey, but they still got the ball inside.
Carey has it, and Carey has 15. He's so strong.
Look, once he gets his body on you, you're beat. So it forces you to play defense early. And I say play defense early, that means you got to win the position game.
Mitchell, who handles the ball well for a big fella, picked it up at a precarious spot. That gives Jared Hamilton a shot at the elbow. And now Duke has a chance to take the lead. Baker has all 8 of his points in the second half.
Yeah, Jared Hamilton's gotten some good looks, just hasn't gotten anything to go.
Carey again, creating a little space. The Duke bench thinking he got fouled. Now Carey's got it back, squares his shoulders, and this time he does draw the foul, and he'll go to the free throw line.
You know, I like that second no call. Vernon Carey actually went right into the body of the defender. Frankly, it seems as if you ask me, I love a bunch of no calls, but physical play at the rim is what you expect. Good job for Vernon Carey going into the body, though, not just trying to go straight up. There he is. He cleared space.
Carey pulls us even with his 16th point of the night.
He's got another gear, too, and that's the thing. You don't see it on his face, but you see it in the way he plays.
Jarius Hamilton, who's just called for his 3rd foul, goes to the bench. Carey a rebound away from another double-double. Nick Popovich has returned to the floor for Boston College, and Duke is on top. And you mentioned this a few moments ago, John, and maybe a little offense-defense from time to time. Carey's going to take a break, and Javin DeLaurier returns.
I think you got to do it. I like extending the pressure here, too, but if Boston College has an opportunity, you still have to be aggressive. Try to attack this pressure. You can't just alleviate pressure. You got to attack it. And for Carey, when I say you can't see it on his face, he's got great body language. He doesn't get too down. He just stays focused.
Duke playing zone. Shot clock is now inside 10. Pat Driscoll signals a kick, so that's going to put the shot clock back at 20, and it was down to 9.
Now, that zone got extended quite a bit. If you're going to extend the zone out that much, you got to send the flasher to that high post area.
Heath stepped back. Wild arcing shot. Jones had the rebound, lost it as Hamilton came out of there, and it'll be Duke basketball.
A lot of time on the shot clock there. Kind of a rush shot out of that sideline out of bounds. Boston College has to settle in, even though they lost the lead here, only down 1.
Trey Jones.
Big.
And Jim Christian's going to call a timeout.
A couple of bad possessions for Boston College offensively, not getting shots to go. Vernon Carey getting 2 foul shots, and Trey Jones, man, what poise. I mean, what value leadership has in today's game. I mean, this kid just has it. You gamble a little bit, he gets himself an open look, and the poise, he's got the poise of a senior. You know, you're a sophomore these days, you might as well be an upperclassman.
Jones only with 2 assists tonight. A lot of that because the Blue Devils really haven't shot the ball very well.
Can't hold him accountable completely.
But a dozen points. So here's what's at stake. Duke at the moment is projected to be a 2 seed by Joe Lenardi, our expert bracketologist. Boston College, their basketball power index rating is not very good. They've lost 13 of the last 14 against Duke. Their last win came when the Blue Devils were here in Conte Forum and ranked #1 in the country in December of 2017. So BC hoping to pull that level of upset, but right now, Duke's asserted itself a little muscle, even when Vernon Carey has had to go to the bench, as he is right now. A little more pressure working against Derek Thornton, who loses his footing, but BC gets it into the front court and then promptly turns it over. Jarius Hamilton turned it over, and Wendell Moore finishes. And right now, Duke has a chance, perhaps, to land some devastating blows against Boston College. Yet another turnover for the Eagles.
Boston College has no one there as an outlet, at least in the middle of the floor. So the defense is able to just sit back and play safety. You got 3 guys for Duke just playing safety. No outlet for that pressure.
16 turnovers for Boston College tonight, and Jarius Hamilton gets both hands on the ball handler and picks up his 4th foul for his trouble.
I think we all know, you say don't want to, there's a few areas you don't get the ball. There's one. You don't want to get stuck in that trap corner. And then you have to have outlets. You have to be at least 1 pass away. You can't rely on skip passes against that type of pressure.
You said earlier, some nights, maybe you don't have your A game, just win the game.
Just win, just win.
And coming down the gut right now, the Blue Devils are on an 8-0 run. Jared Hamilton gets the rebound for Boston College with the ball down 5, inside 5 minutes to play. Derek Thornton's had a good night. Almost got himself in trouble picking up the dribble. Popovich gets into the lane, and he'll be called for the offensive foul.
And this is why Javin DeLaurier is in the game. If Vernon Carey's in there, Vernon Carey's actually checking in. Vernon Carey can't sit there and take the risk of taking this charge. That's terrific defense. I actually like the move from Popovich, though.
Yeah, DeLaurier goes back to the bench and carries in for this offensive possession. BC has turned it over his last 3 possessions. The total is now up to 17. Carey on Popovich.
Oh,
and
yeah,
Popovich, let's see what they call the travel.
Oh, wow.
No foul here. They called the travel on Carey before.
I'll tell you what.
First, do you like that call?
You know, kind of, but I don't know. You know, I look at this. I think it's a foul. Right away, I think this is a foul. He spins into the defender. He displaces the defender. I think it's a foul.
The offensive foul.
I think it's an offensive foul, absolutely. Disagree?
No, I actually thought
Popovich
Popovich beat him to the spot.
I think if he doesn't have any fouls, that's a 5th foul. That's just the way I look at it. But there's also a part of me that likes that he's still in the game and they just called travel.
Well, he's not in the game at the second. Yeah. They quickly got him out of there, and DeLaurier is back in for his defense in the middle of that zone.
I definitely thought that was a foul.
Hamilton. Jared in front of the rim. DeLaurier has a rebound.
Jared Hamilton has just struggled to shoot the everything. It's been flat jumpers. He's gotten good looks, but just hasn't got. If he gets 2 of them to go, it's a different basketball game.
Both teams are 1 for 15 from behind the arc. Neither team shooting 39% from the floor. Duke has a 5-point lead. 3.5 to go. Trey Jones.
Gosh, he's good.
Goldwire almost got the steal, and Boston College in the danger zone. Thornton pulling up. Can't get it to go. Ball's knocked out of bounds. And the Blue Devils will have it as Duke has started to flex a little muscle as Jones has scored 10 of his 14 here in the second half. ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is presented by Progressive Insurance. Get slam dunk savings today. Visit Progressive. Empty possessions. Haven't scored since 7:08. Mark, what changed?
Well, first off, Boston College has missed some open looks. They haven't gotten the same looks they got early in the game, but the other was Duke just has a sense of urgency. They're trying harder. They're the better basketball team, and sometimes it takes the risk or the threat of losing to turn it on. That's what Duke has done. Now, Trey Jones has been a big part of that. Obviously, Vernon Carey has been a big part of that. And I also think, I mean, you go back to it, guys like Joey Baker changed the game. I mean, he changed the game, the way you defend. He didn't have to do much to do it because not a lot of points scored in this basketball game. He also kept that streak alive.
Yeah, he did. Each team shooting exactly 21 of 55 and 1 of 15 from 3. Duke's made some more free throws. Boston College has had more turnovers.
I'm sure the whole Duke bench was aware of that streak, too.
Carey working through a double team. Has a double-double now, but can't get the points. And Jared Hamilton is fouled in the backcourt.
Vernon Carey's even working at a different level right now, demanding the basketball, looking for those offensive rebounds, stick back, just rushed it a bit.
Well, Jared Hamilton steps to the line as Boston College is now in the double bonus, and Hamilton's had a tough shooting night, just 1 of 7 from the floor, 0 of 3 from three-point land. This will be his first free throw of the night.
And he's gotten good looks. Shot's just been a little flat today.
Missed the first. Boston College can't afford to give away points in the free throw line if they're going to have a desperation rally in the last 250 here.
Oh, this is where they have to capitalize with the clock stop. Just watching the rotation just comes off a little funky.
His numbers on the season have been one of the better ones on the team, 77%. Mentioned earlier, Boston College, not a good free throw shooting team on the year, and Jared Hamilton gets 1 of 2.
Look, and don't think that just because he's not making a lot of jump shots doesn't mean he's not impacting the basketball game in a positive way. I mean, he is defensively, rebounding.
Carey gets it into the front court. Now Moore's cutting to the basket. Wendell Moore can't get it to go. Wendell's going to have another opportunity as he pulls it out, and a fresh 20 for the Blue Devils on the offensive end. Coach K orchestrating from the sideline and likely wanted just that. Get it to Carey, and Vernon can't get it to go, and Boston College still has breath. Derek Thornton loses it on the way to the basket, but it'll stay with Boston College. Derek pleading with the officials of Brian O'Connell to call a foul. He'll have to settle for keeping the ball with 24 on the shot clock.
I just think he lost the ball.
He just lost the ball.
Bleed all you want.
A little theatrics, a little acting, a little sell job, maybe a little influence peddling, never hurts, right?
We like to call that deceiving the officials nowadays. Apparently that's a problem.
As old as the game itself. Jared Hamilton misses again. And Boston College has had some opportunities to tighten this game further and just haven't been able to make that big basket, but still time to go. Need another stop. Goldwire picks it up in a dangerous spot.
You got to think Duke has confidence with a guy like Trey Jones on the floor, though. He's just got great poise. Knows how to finish a game. I'd have confidence if I had Trey Jones on the floor. Yeah.
8-point lead. And the sophomore guard puts it home for Duke. 16 points, 3 assists on the night. And the Blue Devils have an 8-point lead with 99 seconds to go. It's the biggest lead of the night for Duke.
Trey Jones.
Who's the last bearded Kentucky player, you know?
That's a great question.
I'll bet our friends on the Twitter know.
Oh, yeah.
99 seconds to go. Boston College in desperate need of a little offensive rally. Hit only 1 3-pointer tonight. This would be a good time for another.
Yes.
And they get it. Jay Heath. Now here comes Trey Jones. Guarded by Thornton. 5-point edge for the Blue Devils. Heath comes to trap. Now Goldwire to cutting Wendell Moore, who almost lost it out of bounds. Duke with under 5 on the shot clock. Delorier!
Wow. That is Trey Jones. Saw the shot clock, knew he had Javin Delorier, went for the lob. That is terrific.
Joey Baker called for a foul on this end with just under 55 seconds to play. What a play by Jones, and what a finish by DeLaurier.
I mean, look, it's all broken play. They save it, keep the thing alive. Jones just keeps his head up, fully aware of the shot clock, knows he's got time. I'm giving him benefit of the doubt that that was a pass. You're not?
I am, barely. I thought it was a shot initially. You look at it now, and he's got such great vision.
If you watch his eyes are up the whole time.
Yeah. And DeLaurier's been in for defense for the most part. Was able to finish off that pass and/or shot to give Duke the 7-point lead, which has now been cut to 6. Derek Thornton now with 21, and it's back to a 5.
That's where you have to continue to pressure. You want the steal. Keep this pressure up. Look for the steal first. I'd foul him.
Wendell Moore gets it into the front court, and he is fouled by Jared Hamilton.
I always wonder, you seem to wait a little bit to foul. I think you pick the guy, right? It's obviously what you talk about. Go for the steal first, especially if you can force it in a corner. Get that double team.
And see how much you have to extend the game. Wendell Moore, 74% free throw shooter. He'll get 2 in the double bonus here. Popovich, Mitchell, Heath, Jarius Hamilton, and Derek Thornton on the floor for Boston College. Goldwire, Jones, Moore, Stanley, and Carey for Duke. Moore 1 for 2.
And this extended pressure for Duke has been good. Forced some turnovers, but also just kind of controls the offensive attack.
Thornton for 3. Leaves it on the front iron, and Stanley has the rebound. And now you got to get the steal quickly and go ahead and foul, and they do in the backcourt on Jones. Well, Trey Jones showing that moxie, that savvy, making 2 huge plays down the gut to fight off any hopes of Boston College comeback.
I mean, the biggest thing is just this poise. In a tough situation, I know, look, this has not been a pretty game, but it seems as if down the stretch, Duke has really turned it on. There was a sense of urgency, most of which came from Trey Jones.
Jones now with 17 points on the night.
Also credit Vernon Carey for going in and out of the game, for sitting so much with those 4 fouls, but coming back in and being aggressive on the offensive end. That's a game changer as well. 18
now for Jones. To your point, I think Carey picked up number 4 with just over 14 minutes to play. Yeah. Came back in the game when Duke was reeling a little bit with 12 and played very wise, efficient basketball. Boston College needs a 3. That's been more the order of the night for both teams from behind the arc, and I think that's going to do it. And Duke was challenged. Boston College fought hard, but just not quite enough in terms of offensive firepower to pull off the upset. And the Blue Devils will head into a game at North Carolina, having won a couple on